All right, guys, Nathan Sprague here with Debt Freedom University. Welcome back. We are going to stick for the final phase here in the Debt Freedom Matrix template file here and kind of focusing this step on the bottom right table here, the free cash flow, which should be pretty quick, and then the two kind of green boxes on the right that are auto-calculated, and then kind of explaining where these values are derived from and kind of explaining the methodology behind this. So, and I want to just jump back very quickly on the lower left here, savings and investment accounts. We talked about how, oftentimes these are inefficient use of your dollars. This money would be better spent towards paying down your debts because the interest rate on your debts are much higher than what you actually earn on a real annualized rate of return on your investments. But specifically for the 401ks, and again, whether it's 403 or 457, whatever your account is, the amounts you enter here should only be amounts that are amounts that you're contributing to these accounts that are in excess of your employer match. So in this case, we've got $150 with the husband's account, $80 with the wife's account. So that's a total of $230. That could be $230 that they're contributing that they're not getting any match on because their employer is not providing any match, or it could be, let's say maybe they're contributing a total of $730 to the two accounts, but $500 of that is getting matched. We don't want to touch that $500 that's getting matched. So the values that you enter here on your employer retirement accounts should only be dollars that are not getting matched by your employer. I just want to emphasize that because, again, that's going to be the most efficient use of those dollars. And if you are getting a match, I encourage you to keep investing in those accounts because you're getting essentially 100% rate of return with the employer match. So we'll leave that at that. Jumping to the bottom right portion table here, free cash flow. So this is going to be a number that we pull from our budget. So if we jump back over here to this family's budget, it is going to be this little blue box here at the top. Now, this shows $325. I entered 200 here. So, I think most people, and I would recommend you leave a little bit of cushion if you can. So their budget shows that they've got $325 per month in free cash flow, but obviously we have some nuances and ebbs and flows in some of these expenses and incomes as well. So maybe for the sake of this example, they might say, well, let's just take 200 of that 325. We're going to leave the extra $125 for, ebbs and flows and nuances in our expenses and incomes. So that's the $200 that I have plugged into the bottom right here. So we're taking 200 of that 325, and ultimately between all of these things, we're going to be kind of combining our debts and our savings investment accounts plus our free cash flow to calculate this number here in the top right, which is our monthly, what I call the monthly debt weapon. And so what that is this is the extra free cash flow we have in our budget that we're willing to allocate. So in this case, it's $200 of that 325. So it's $200. It also includes the inefficient dollars down here in the bottom left. So again, because we know these are going to go further, we're going to get a bigger bang for our buck putting these towards paying down our debts than investing them. We're also going to redirect these dollars towards our debts, so that's going to be included in this debt weapon calculation. And then in addition, we're going to look at all the extra payments we're making on our existing debts. So in total, they're making $127 a month worth of extra payments. We're going to lump all those together for a total of $857 per month. So that is, in this example, for the John Sample family, they have $857 per month for their debt weapon. So that's what we're going to use to attack these debts with and ultimately implement this strategy with. So that means that once you implement that strategy, instead of making these extra payments, and instead of making these investments towards these accounts, you are going to take that money and apply it towards your debt pay down. And we'll get into that here in the other videos as we talk about how to implement that in the methodology. But I just want to make that clear that first and foremost, we're pulling a value from our budget here that is, it could be all of this number, the monthly free cash flow amount, or a portion of that number that you're comfortable allocating towards the debt pay down. And we're plugging that into the bottom right here where we've entered $200 here. And then, the two green boxes here on the right will auto calculate. So this is, again, taking the extra payments we're making on our debts. It's taking these investments that are what we consider inefficient dollars, plus the free cash flow in our budget to give us a total, in this example, of $857 per month that we are going to use as our debt weapon to attack our debts and implement this process. From there, the box below that, this also auto calculates, but it shows our total monthly debt payment of, so what this is going to be is just the minimum debt service payments on our debts plus the total debt weapon amount that we're going to attack our debts with. So what's ultimately going to happen is you're going to pay only the minimums on your debts plus allocating our debt weapon amount. So that total is going to be, in this case, for this family, $3,870 per month. So that's the total monthly debt payment we're going to make. That includes the minimum payments plus our debt weapon amount. So hopefully that makes sense. And from here, we're going to dive into some methodology about the strategies and eventually get into how to implement or how to take these certain values, plug these into our methodology calculators, and ultimately spit out a plan, a very defined plan of attack, so that we can get started implementing this and seeing results. So hopefully you found this informative, and we'll see you in the next video.